Fu Kenny.
Hey, the sun came out.
What stays on Earth, stays on Earth.
Another world premiere.
Kung Fu Kenny. This is the ODcast.
Hey, yo, this is the ODcast. Hey, yo, this is the ODcast. Hey, yo, this is the ODcast. Hey, yo. Hey, yo, this is the ODcast.
Damn.
Hey, yo, this is the ODcast. Damn.
This is the ODcast, yo. ODcast, 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 ODcast.
Very nice.
I think you have about a good 30 seconds amount of something good there.
That's all we need.
Or you gotta use the whole thing.
Probably not.
Please don't use the whole thing.
Okay. 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 Very good. Very good. Very good. Do you know what voice I'm doing?
What?
Do you know what voice I'm doing?
No.
Okay. It's a keyboard voice on like Yamaha keyboards.
I don't know that one.
Anyway, let's start the episode.
Let's start it. I'm sorry about that. Oh, but everything good with the levels of the volume?
I think so.
All right,
Yes.
let's take our traditional shot. This is Tequila Milagro, or was it
Humidor.
okay, Jimador. Okay.
Jimador.
All right, cheers for-
Reposado.
what do you want to cheer for?
That's putting me on the spot. Too much pressure to come up with a cheer.
I'm going to cheer for the universe telling us that we're doing something good for the fact that you and I are wearing a bull shirt and we haven't even talked about what we were going to wear.
That's a good one.
It's like the socks situation
Yeah.
in the Dylan episode again, I guess. I forget which episode, but it's like this happening again.
I'm glad you remembered that these
Yeah.
are the donut socks.
Oh, I remember the donuts. So let's cheers to that.
Serendipity.
Woo.
It's a very tequila flavored episode. We also
It
got
is.
tequila soda.
Yeah, from Casa Azul. We got the peach mango, 5% alcohol volume. Where are they from? I don't know where it says they're from. It's a tequila soda, so it's not a beer.
Yeah, I think the term, the like fancy buzzword
Yeah.
for that is a ranch water nowadays. Have
Oh,
you
is
heard
it?
that?
Oh my God, it's whatever. Well, it says mi casa es su casa, so
I actually don't know if ranch water is a branded term like Kleenex or if it's a general term. I've seen multiple brands come out with ranch waters recently, though, so I think it's like the umbrella term.
this is the first time I'm hearing it. So
I like ranch waters. They feel... I don't know. Actually, this doesn't say ranch water. It says tequila soda.
I like the mango flavor. It does feel like
And
it's a soda.
Peach and mango.
Oh.
I typically prefer peach-flavored drinks to mango, but this is good.
Yeah.
It's got
I
both.
was this close on getting watermelon, but I don't know if you're that into the sweetness.
I like watermelon.
That's good. Okay.
I mean, this is also very sweet. Is it flavored with real sugar or corn syrup, or is it like fake sugar?
Stevia, agave nectar, organic
And
cane
organic
sugar.
That's interesting. They got stevia and real sugar.
Yeah.
Kind of like stevia is like a little booster, so they probably don't have to use as much sugar.
I remember back in the day when we were practicing with trocar buttons. You really like that Whole Foods brand. soda. The
Well,
zero
this is when I
calorie.
was living at home, and it was
Yeah.
my mom buying all those.
I didn't like it, but I drank it. Maybe my taste bud changed. I just wasn't into it. What was it called? Stevia? No,
Zevia.
Zevia.
But yeah, based from the word stevia.
Do you,
She doesn't buy those anymore. Now she doesn't really drink soda anymore.
oh, I haven't drank soda in a while. I'm a carbonated drink person. I like La Croix. I like bubbly. I like Aha. I think the best one is it's a French brand. What the fuck is it called? Not La Croix. There's another one. Perrier. That's the one. That one's my favorite, but it's so expensive compared to the other prices of the other carbonated drinks.
See, I never buy any of those. I always think like I could just drink some free water from the water fountain instead.
But it's not bubbly. You're just
Yeah.
drinking still water.
You know, I saw a funny YouTube short from Vsauce. You know that guy?
Yeah.
He was talking about how all the water in the universe, or it's like 40% of the water in our planet and in the solar system, is from before the Big Bang. It's
Okay.
water that's been existing for billions of years.
Uh-huh.
When you think about it, we're just drinking like this old ass millennia, billions of years old water all the time, and doesn't taste bad.
That's funny you say that because I mean, we can talk about it more in detail later. But like yesterday, there our conversation about Jesus Christ versus the Big Bang Theory, and the guy was talking about how if the Big Bang Theory put the Big Bang Theory inside this cup. But I guess you proved it that it could be. You just put water because 40% of that water is before the Big Bang.
That is a way of looking at
If
it.
Vsauce, I forget his name, but if he says that is correct, then that is correct. You know?
Yeah, we were debating whether to talk more about that Christ worshiping guy, and I don't really want to talk anymore about him. He was annoying.
What did you think of his art, though?
It's impressive, the size of those paintings, but they're not very good.
Okay.
And he doesn't have a real style. He's like just trying out.
He was mimicking
Different.
everyone.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm going to do He was refusing to own up to the Basquiat thing.
Yeah. And they said it to him like 2 or 3 times, right?
Yeah, he just kind of ignored it, or was
Yeah.
just like, what do you think of Jesus?
Yeah, okay. Well, let's not talk about it because it was just an uncomfortable situation.
But I do want to say, without naming the gallery, this is a guy who runs a storefront space right across from the Art Institute of Chicago and is only showing his own work in probably a unit that costs many thousands of dollars a month to lease.
And he was telling us that he doesn't have to pay anything.
I think he was just trying to deflect the idea that we're like thinking he's some rich, loaded guy, just planting a seed in our heads that like, wait, maybe he really doesn't pay for this.
Yeah.
And he's a struggling artist just like us.
Mm-hmm. I don't
But
believe
he's
it.
full of shit. He's
I
got
don't believe
he probably run the Romanian lottery.
Maybe. Or some kind of other thing. But yeah, good for him, I guess.
Do they have lotteries in other countries? Or is that an American thing?
No, they do. They do. I at work, 'cause I don't want to talk about where I work or what I do for work, but I do remember helping a customer, and they won coming here to the U.S. from going to the lottery, but I forget which country it was. I think it was Albania. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not a money lottery, it's a like immigration lottery?
Immigration lottery situation. And I don't want to talk more about it, but yeah.
Interesting. That is
Either
the
Albania or
ultimate
Egypt,
lottery.
I forget.
Wow.
So let's get into the topic, or should
Yeah,
okay.
let's stop stalling.
Um,
This is a kind of hard one.
I think every episode we do is hard. I will tell you this. Maybe I have said this to you afterwards. I was mentally drained after the Bob Dylan episode. I
Really?
don't know why. I was just so drained. I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
Huh.
But now here we are, episode 11.
Oh yeah.
Episode
We're into
11.
the double digits.
Oh, and well, okay, well, this is my apologies. Hello, everyone. This is the ODcast. My name is Oscar, and this is
Dylan.
And we're going to talk about Kendrick Lamar's Damn / NMAD and Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
I think we should talk about Pink Floyd first. This is not an album review per se. It kind of is, but it kind of isn't. It's just us talking about the albums. I brought it up because I listened to Kendrick Lamar's Damn / NMAD, and the first thing I thought of after listening to it, I thought there was a lot of similarities with Pink Floyd Dark Side, and I never brought it up to anyone about it. So I thought this, and I had this idea for like maybe a year or so, and I wanted to talk to you, see if you see what I mean or not, or if you can understand my thought process on that.
Yeah.
And it was. We haven't seen each other in like 2-3 weeks since the last time we recorded the Salvador Dali one. So maybe like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, kind of a long break between episodes. But there was an art cast in between that got put out with Birdo.
Yes. That was a good episode.
Yes. Check out the art cast.
Yes.
It's on a different Spotify account if you're keeping track.
Some good artists, and there may be more coming along the way.
Yeah, I still have a couple
fans.
of the backlog to upload, but then got to start making new ones.
Oh, snap. You have recorded other people?
No.
Oh.
I haven't put them all on Spotify yet.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But I just to go back to the two albums, I'm looking forward to hearing your reasoning why Damn reminds you of Dark Side of the Moon. Because I don't know if I see it or hear it, rather. But like, they're both albums. You can draw connections to
anything.
Yeah. It's like, if it made you feel that way, I totally respect and feel like that's valid. But it wouldn't have come to my mind if you hadn't brought it up.
Okay, well, I'll say this. Like when I first listened to Dark Side, I was a teenager, and I thought it was an okay album. I have some questions about Dark Side still. But one time I was talking to a coworker. This is back in the day in the library, and she opened my mind. Like me saying this, people will be like, "Obviously, you're an idiot, Oscar." But sometimes when you see a movie or watch something or anything, that someone explaining to you what's right then and there, right in front of you, it helps a lot compared to them assuming that you know their stuff. Dark Side of the Moon is basically an album talking about life. You know, you read the title tracks, and it's all about life. You know, breathe. You know, talking about birth, on the run, time, money, us and them, and then eclipse, which is basically
Losing your mind.
Or just death, it's over.
Oh, yeah, that too.
And then that's it. And then the reason I thought that Damn and Dark Side of the Moon are the same or similar is because Damn also talks about life. It just gets a little bit more specific, while Dark Side is just a general outtake about this is what everyone suffers. And Kendrick is talking about like, no, dude, I suffer. It like goes into more deeper explanations about human nature and human emotions and human suffering. That's why I thought they were really similar.
Yeah, I can see that. Damn kind of is like a concept album where every song is a different, would you call it like an emotion? Yeah. Or some of them even almost have the vibe of like one of the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah.
Like pride, lust. But then there's some like love.
Yeah.
Which is not a sin, but it's
and then fear. Feeling. Fear is not a 7 deadly sin.
Right. So yeah, life very broadly is the topic of both.
But one similarity I noticed about both of them in some weird ways, you can make the argument that it's a never-ending album. Dark Side, you can just put it in a loop and it just goes and repeats. So you can make it and talk about it into a metaphor that it's an album about reincarnation. While Damn / NMAD is like you can listen to the whole album and then you can listen to it backwards.
Yeah.
Like a ping pong.
It's going to be really hard to talk about them individually because like I feel like the whole idea is that we're comparing them. And I have things to say about both of them like right now.
Yeah.
Do you still want to talk about them first, like Dark Side first, and
Yeah.
then save Damn?
And then Damn and Mad later, and then afterwards feel what we talk about. Like how do you feel about
Yeah, okay.
both of them in the end after conversing about it?
Then let's just save the Damn and Mad talk till later in the episode and just focus on Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd.
a bit.
Okay. All right. So what do you want to talk about first? You just want to talk about the first song, or? Well, let me ask you this, because I never, you know that I'm a Pink Floyd fan, but I never seen you talk or mention Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
What do you think of Pink Floyd?
They're a weird band that I have a ton of respect for, but for whatever reason, they weren't part of my parents' record collections growing up. They had a lot of other classic rock and like folk, and my dad especially was a big vinyl collector, but I don't think he had a single Pink Floyd album. But then for some reason, when I was 12, he bought me a Pink Floyd shirt and was like, here's a present. And I was like,
What shirt was it? Was it Dark
it
Side?
had the Dark Side of the Moon logo.
That's funny. That's cute.
I don't know where it is. I was looking for it to wear it today, but I couldn't find it. I think it's at my mom's house.
Oh, Mama.
But I heard Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall and stuff in high school, and I could see why they were so famous. Like, I was learning guitar, of course, and David Gilmour's guitar playing is just mind-blowingly. It's so tasteful and so like. He's clearly a virtuoso, but rarely shows off or plays fast. He just really plays these like melodic, atmospheric leads that are kind of a big thing I try to do.
Yeah,
with
and
guitar.
like he's very bluesy, but he also is not ripping off anyone. Like it's still his own, vibe, his own tone, and everything. I was talking to a friend of mine because we're both Pink Floyd fans, and we talk about the drama and the psychological torture of each musician in the band. And we both agreed that Roger wrote songs, and he's like the one who can write the songs. But David wrote guitar solos.
And he wrote some melodic vocals too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but like he's like, there's a difference between writing a solo and writing a song. Like David's like main forte is writing a solo. Like the only reason I listen to like Pink Floyd after Roger Waters is just the guitar solos. I don't like the songs. The songs are corny, but the solos is what keeps me like, all right, I'll give it a chance. But all of this is trash, except the solo.
So even on an album like Dark Side, is Roger Waters writing all the lyrics and David Gilmour just sings some of them?
Oh, I think the whole band helped, but Roger was a huge part of it. He's the huge brains of it. Like what you know of Pink Floyd, like the brains of Pink Floyd is Roger. Like The Wall, Dark Side, Wish You Were Here, the main three,
Sure. Yeah, I can see that. Just knowing what Roger has been up to in recent decades with like being outspoken about fights with the other members makes me not really like him as a person, but I'm not really basing that on any real knowledge.
Roger is a narcissist.
Okay, then.
Like,
if you as a fan
Yeah.
feel like that, then that's like me calling Billy Corgan an asshole or a narcissist. Like,
but you still like
I
him,
think
even
he's
though you
brilliant,
don't.
or has had brilliant moments, but I don't like him as a person very much.
I think it's funny that like almost every episode, maybe every episode, we mention Billy Corgan.
I'm sorry.
And no,
I couldn't help it.
don't apologize, because I was going to bring this up to you. Was one of the reasons you listened to The Wall because you wanted to get to know more of Melancholy, like.
No.
Because I feel like Melancholy and The Wall, there's a lot of similarities within.
They're double albums. That's
double
about
albums,
it.
and also the first and the last song are the same song, somewhat.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah.
But that's it. That's the only thing. The Wall is a concept album. Well,
I mean,
Melancholy's
Melancholy
just-
kind of is too, but it's like it's a concept album in the most basic way. It's about like a day. It's sort of a day in the life, but an
Yeah.
album, and it has like starts with dawn and ends with twilight, and concept albums can be so generic, you know. Even though you're absolutely right that both albums we're talking about are about life, like everything's about life. You can't make art that's not about life.
Yeah, but like Kendrick talks about it in for huge detail compared to the other albums. Yeah, he does, but like Damn is just something much more specific about life.
Yeah. But like his last album before this, To Pimp a Butterfly, that it's a little more political, I feel like. But politics and social issues, those are life
about life too. And you hear it too on Damn as well. But like
See, this is what I mean. We're having a hard time not talking about Kendrick. Why don't we just make it freeform? Just talk about them both.
No, but then we're gonna lose the train of thought.
Maybe.
Okay. Well, let's just keep on talking with Pink Floyd.
Okay.
Okay. So I know you heard the album before this episode.
Oh yeah, I have it on vinyl.
Oh, look at you!
And we've listened to it with Wizard of Oz like multiple times, which I know it's so dumb. Corny. The band didn't do that on purpose, and it doesn't really sync up that well. But it's a fun thing to do.
You know what syncs up really well? That I think the band literally did it on purpose because they regret the opportunity. Do you know the song Echoes? Yeah. You know it's 20 minutes long, or give or take?
I've only really heard the live at Pompeii version.
That one's really good, but I'm talking about the studio version.
I don't know if I've heard this. What album is that on?
Metal, Before Dark Side.
Okay.
Well,
I should hear that. I like that song.
Oh, it's a really good song. Well, it synchronizes with the last part of 2001: A Space Odyssey. The trippy scene. It cool. Synchronizes really well, and I think the band did that on purpose because when Stanley was filming Dark Side, he asked Pink Floyd if they could be the band to write the soundtrack, and they rejected him.
Wait, the band rejected Kubrick?
The band rejected Kubrick, and that's.
But then they wanted to make.
Once they saw the movie, they regretted it.
Oh.
So.
Is that true? Did Kubrick really seek out Pink Floyd originally?
Yeah. Yes.
But then he got like Zarathustra's classical. Who wrote that piece? Also?
Richard Strauss.
Strauss.
Yes.
I can't imagine that movie without like some of the classical.
Oh, I mean, there's gonna be classical music, but like other weird, like there's a lot of like weird Moog synthesizer stuff in the music. Yeah. In the movie, so I think that's the scenes where Pink Floyd was supposed to be in. I should try that, syncing up that song. I'm pretty sure that's on YouTube, so you can just go there and just look at it and enjoy it.
See, now that I know a little bit more about how recording and albums get made, the idea that a band would secretly write a soundtrack to some random piece of media seems so far-fetched to me. Mm-hmm. I mean, that you have a good case there if they were already in talks with Kubrick to do it. But like the Wizard of Oz thing, why would they give up so much creative control to like make this random little Easter egg? And
I think that's stupid for fans to believe like they did that on purpose. Like
it's very dumb.
Like maybe it's coincidental. Maybe that's the crazy part. Like especially the part with money where the ka-ching part and then it all starts.
Oh yeah, it turns into color.
That's really creepy. I get that. It's really cool and creepy. Maybe they did do it on purpose, but overall in the end, I don't think it does.
So you've seen it?
I've watched it once, and I think like I thought to myself, this is kind of a waste of my time.
I forgot about the money scene. That is kind of the most fun part when you get to hear that cash registers and jingling, and it's suddenly a Technicolor wonderland.
Yeah, it's just whatever. There's a little again. I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan. There's a little musical error in Dark Side of the Moon at the ending of the album, where you still hear the heartbeat. If you crank it up high volume, you just crank it up all the way to the maximum, you can hear an orchestra playing, and it's because the other booth in Abbey Road was playing.
Whoa!
So it was bleeding through that.
That's cool.
Just letting you know.
Did they record it in the same studio as the Beatles?
Yes, they recorded it in Abbey Road. Same studio as Radiohead as well.
Oh yeah. I would love to visit that studio or like record something there someday.
Wouldn't that be the dream?
I just saw funny Rick Beato visited it on YouTube. I need to stop talking about all my YouTubers I watch.
There's a YouTube guy that I like. A friend of mine told me about him. He's from Boston. He's Irish American.
What does he do?
Kind of the same stuff as Rick Beato, but it's much more funnier and really satirical. His big thing is he decided to make an emo song. He was making fun of Machine Gun Kelly, but he also makes fun of Rick Beato because I think Rick Beato is a smart guy, but there's moments where I think
he's a little corny.
Yeah, very corny. I'm more of an Adam Neely guy.
Adam Neely's amazing.
I like Adam Neely. He's fun.
You should tell me the Boston guy sometime.
Yeah, I forget it. It's a stereotypical Irish name, but I don't want to guess what it is right now. Okay, so let's dissect this album a little bit.
Yeah.
Speak to Me, which is the first track before the first song, Breathe. What do you think Speak to Me is about?
Well, like you were saying, it sounds like you're in the womb or something. It's kind of like being born, and then the album starts. It's not really a full song.
It's not.
It's like a little sound. It's like a skit. It's like the early hip hop version of a skit.
Yeah, but it's more serious. It's like a foreshadowing of what's going to happen in the album, in that song. Mm-hmm. You hear the clinging and the ringing from Money. You hear the TikToks from Time. You hear people laughing, all that stuff. And you hear people laughing. It's like that skit with the guy saying, "I don't know, I was drunk at the time," stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really consider that a full song like the others, but it is like a little preview of the themes that will be coming.
Okay. And then, in my opinion, Breathe is basically just the first time you gasp for air when you're born.
Yeah. I kind of forget what the lyrics, even though we were just rehearsing this.
Yeah.
But the lyrics are pretty broad about life already. It's not like necessarily the perspective of a newborn baby the whole time.
Breathe in the air. Don't be afraid to care. Leave, but don't leave me. Look around, choose your own ground. Long you live and high you fly, smiles you give and tears you'll cry, and all you touch and all you see is all your life will ever be. Run, rabbit, run, dig that hole, forget the sun. When at last the work is done, don't sit down, it's time to dig another one. Long you live and high you fly, but only if you ride the tide. Balance on the biggest waves, you race towards an early grave.
Oh, wow. Okay, that could apply to like a parent saying that to their kid who's just been born, or like words to a newborn person.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Breathe in the air. Don't be afraid to care. Leave, don't leave me. Look around, choose your own ground. Long you live and high you fly. Smiles you give and tears you cry, and all you touch and all you see is all your life will ever be. Run, Rabbits run. Dig that hole, forget the sun. And when at last the work is done, don't sit down, it's time to dig another one. For long you live and high you fly, but only if you ride the tide. Balance on the biggest waves, you race towards an early grave.
I might actually use the previous first verse. I think the second verse was.
I think this was the best one yet. Have you noticed that nursery rhymes are really morbid?
Some of them, yeah.
Really morbid. Like,
gotta teach kids how fucked up existence is, and you're just gonna die, and living things are gonna die. And
like row Your Boat is a song about death.
like,
There's nothing you can do because life is but a dream.
oh, life is
Yeah.
but a dream. That's a pretty
Yeah.
deep concept for
Yeah.
a kid's song.
Just stuff like that. Like also, my Molly lives over the ocean. That song is a mourning song about this person that misses his significant other. But that's not a kid's nursery rhyme, is it?
I'd say that's more of
Yeah.
like a folk ballad for all ages, not necessarily kids. Anything else you want to say about Breathe?
I've never done heroin, and I'm not planning to. I don't think I ever will do heroin. However, I think if I ever imagine heroin, how heroin would feel is how this song makes me feel. Every time I listen to it, I just feel so relaxed.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the world that worries me at the time when I listen to that song. It's just pure bliss. Just like you are numb in the abyss. That's what I think of when I hear that song.
Yeah. The slide guitar and the mellow chords. I will always associate this song with a road trip, a very short road trip I took to Wisconsin, like to go to a friend's wedding. And I hadn't listened to Dark Side since like high school. And I put it on my iPod, and it was raining, and then suddenly the clouds parted and it became sunny again just as I started listening to it. And it was just a beautiful moment. I was like, this is how this song is meant to feel. Just like sunny, green hills and a sunny sky. And so I always kind of picture that when I hear it now. But anyway, then Dorothy's walking on the fence and she falls down and time starts. All the crazy like...
No, that's On the Run.
Oh, On the Run.
On the Run. What do you think On the Run is about? Because for people, Dylan and I were kind of organizing about the podcast before the podcast. One of the rules we do in this podcast is we don't talk about our opinions of the podcast. We save it for the show. But I asked Dylan to make a mental note of these instrumental songs in Dark Side of the Moon because I think it has a meaning. Sometimes I don't know what it is. Sometimes that's why I'm legitimately asking you, what does it mean? Not because I'm also, what's the word I'm looking for? Not because I'm also challenging you, because sometimes also because I don't know. I really don't
That's
know.
what you meant by instrumentals.
Yeah.
I didn't know you meant like the little interlude songs.
Like On the Run, what do you think that's about? I have my own theory, but...
Well, you go from the last verse of Breathe about like just constantly digging holes
Yeah.
and run, rabbit, run. It's
Yeah.
a pretty clear segue of that idea, like how that's like the rat race. It's like
Yeah.
humans in a constantly running for different reasons and trying to get ahead.
And that's the title of the song. And I think it's a perfect feeling of anxiety,
Yeah.
or literally just on the run because you don't want to sit with your emotions and you just do one thing after another after another. And then that's a good segue to Time.
Yeah, which I think the song has some of my favorite lyrics on the album.
Oh, yeah.
About like, no one told you when to run, you
Yeah.
missed the starting gun.
Yeah.
That hits me in the soul every time I hear
Every time
it.
I fucking hear it. So do I, man. This is my favorite song of the album. This is the song that got me into the band.
Nice. I could see that. I don't think I heard it till I listened to this whole album. Is it considered one of their biggest songs?
Oh, I think it's one of the biggest hits ever. I mean, their biggest hit of this album is Money.
Mm-hmm.
But like one of my favorite songs is Time.
Yeah. Me too.
I think Nick Mason, the drummer of the band, is one of the best drummers in rock and roll history. His flaw is also his strength.
That sounds interesting. What is his flaw?
He can't play fast. He cannot play fast, but he is a good drummer because he can play a solid beat. And it's persistent. It's just keeps the band together, glues the band together. I'm bringing him up because the drum solo of this song is really good, but it's not like amazing. I don't want to say amazing, but like not like mind melting or anything. It's just it does what it needs to be done because the song is about time. So it wants to be the tempo, making sure that you feel the pressure, the anxiety of time going back and forth, and it just resembles that really well with the drum solo.
I'm going to have to go back and listen and pay special attention to the drums and the drum solo because I can't really picture it right now.
It's like what's his name of the drummer from Rush?
Neil Peart.
It's like if Neil Peart was really slow. That's the drum solo of Time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if Pink Floyd has like an actual fast song. On the Wall, there's a couple. There's like,
All right,
I
name one.
Need a Dirty Woman.
That's a mid-tempo song.
Okay, yeah.
Ooh, need a dirty woman. Duggan, duggan. Ooh, need a dirty girl.
It's a little faster than anything on
Yeah.
Dark Side, slightly.
That's
But
true.
yeah, they don't have, and that's what I was saying about Dave Gilmour. He never plays fast
Yeah.
either. They're mid-tempo to slow band.
Yeah, but they make it happen. I think why this band is great is because they are the master of dynamics. They know when to be loud. They know when to be quiet. But that means it doesn't matter if we have to play slow or fast. We can play mid-tempo or slow tempo, but we'll still hit you where it hits you.
Great Gig in the Sky.
Great Gig in the Sky. Tell me, what do you think about that? What does it mean?
The history of that song is super fascinating.
Tell me
the
about it.
the session singer who
Yeah.
sang the vocal part.
Yes.
Do you know this story?
Tell me the story, because I always forget, so refresh my memory.
Well,
Claire Torrey,
they
right?
had yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They had the instrumental, and they were like, we want a female vocalist to just kind of sing with no lyrics, just some emotions. And their engineer, producer was like, there's this great session singer who's always at Abbey Road. We'll get her to sing on it. They paid her like standard session fee, which wasn't much, no royalty agreement or songwriting credit. And she just made that mind-melting vocal performance just on the spot. And she sued them recently, like 20 years ago, like 30 years after the album came out, and now she's listed as a co-songwriter and probably has more credits or more royalties.
Good. She deserves that.
Yeah, the song, like, it wouldn't really be nearly what it is without her. Though I was reading on Wikipedia that just this morning how when they toured that album back in, what year is this, 70?
73.
73?
They released it in 73.
They didn't go on tour with Claire Torrey, so they would recite Bible verses over A Great Gig in the Sky.
Well, thank you for telling me that, because I want to know, what do you think Great Gig in the Sky is about?
Well, This is where my Wizard of Oz has colored my experience permanently, because I just see the tornado ripping through Kansas every time I hear it.
So you think it's a metaphor of chaos, of all these like complicated emotions?
It's kind of how it feels. It feels really storm-like and like swirling sounds, and the vocals are so over the top.
Do you also think it's a metaphor? The song's a metaphor about having when one has a manic episode versus another one having a depressive episode? Because at the end of the song, it gets really sad, and she sings really sad.
Yeah.
But why is it called The Great Gig in the Sky?
That makes it sound like it's heaven or like death or something. Like you're going to the great gig in the sky when you die.
Is it okay? I'm assuming, but I'm assuming that my assumption is correct. Is it one of those moments?
That's a quote for a shirt.
Is it one of those moments where you start having a depressive episode because you're mourning your own death even though you're still alive? Like, oh shit, I'm gonna die soon.
It could be just thematically that makes sense, but it doesn't sound like a mourning song. It sounds more like you were saying, like a manic or just a freak out kind of song.
This is why, I think I've told you this before, this is why I prefer instrumental songs over songs with lyrics. Because it has so much hit. It hits you more than a song with lyrics.
Yeah. I was thinking that after the symphony last night. Shostakovich, I was reading the pamphlet while the symphony was playing, and he felt similarly. He thought music can just say so much more than language, and even he was putting all his feelings about Soviet rule into these really intense, dark symphonies, and you can hear it. You can hear the angst and the like despair and the destruction. Just no lyrics, just music and dissonant harmonies and snare gunshots and stuff.
Should we stop about Dark Side and talk about that experience?
We can if you want.
Okay. Well, so for people who are kind of guessing what's going on, Dylan and I went to see the Chicago Symphony Orchestra play Shostakovich Symphony Number 8.
Yeah.
And then Mozart's Piano Concerto Number 25, right?
I think
my memory serves me
right.
correct.
I don't remember the number of the concerto.
Astonishing piece from both of them. The pianist was great. Really, really mind-blowing. But Shostakovich, it was a 63-minute piece.
Yeah,
it went by quick, but at the same time, I was also getting impatient. I think I was getting impatient because my seat was uncomfortable.
I was going to tell you the same thing. Those seats at that place are they're so narrow and hard, and like there were people on both sides of me that I didn't want to like bump elbows with. So it was just, my back was hurting by the end of that.
Same here. And it wasn't because I was hating the piece. I was just like, oh God, I feel uncomfortable.
I'm glad you mentioned, I'm glad you bring it up though, because when you were talking about how Nick Mason, that's his name?
Yeah.
How he's not a flashy, fast drummer. And we were saying the whole band kind of lays back. Mozart is like all flash, I feel like. He's just a million notes per second. The piece he wrote, the piano concerto, he basically is like he's like the Yngwie Malmsteen of his time.
You said that and I was laughing my ass off.
There are a lot of guys like that though. Like Paganini was apparently the same way.
What did you think of the
Liszt?
Liszt, however, let's put a huge asterisk on Liszt, because in his later years before he died, he went completely minimal.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like, do you remember? Have you watched Eyes Wide Shut?
Yeah.
The don 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 don. That's Franz Liszt.
I don't remember it, but I'll look out.
It's just
for
one note, not like chords and doing flashy things. Just don don don, like a little kid can play it, but it just has a lot of emotion. Really,
cool.
really minimalist.
He just got old and lost his facility.
That, or he just was. Life got to him. Really, he was in a really dark episode in his life, and he didn't have. He can show how life could be with showing just really small amounts.
Do you know how old he was when he died?
No.
because Mozart was only 35 or 36, and he died like a few years after he wrote the piece we heard, and he was kind of at his peak.
Yeah.
Do you know how Mozart died? Was it syphilis or some disease or something?
He died. I forget what he died of, but he was going insane.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyway.
But going back to what you were saying. Oh, two fascinating things about the event, the symphony orchestra event. Were you paying attention to the woman on the side?
She was pissing me off. It was creepy.
What? Because she was just standing still, just waiting.
Oh
no!
I was thinking the person into the row in front of us, the audience member.
Okay.
Who are you talking about?
Okay, well, I want to know.
The marimba player?
Yes. I want to talk about the marimba player, but tell me what you were thinking about first.
Did you notice how she kept like reaching her hand around her date and like whispering really loudly in his ear?
Could you hear what they were saying?
No, but I could just hear talking, and there's the way she was like pulling his whole head towards her, and he was like. He would never really respond. He would just stare straight ahead or like, I don't know. They gave me really creepy vibes.
Also, after the Mozart piano concerto thing, that guy, and there was another person behind us. They were
bravo!
Bravo. I thought it was corny. I wanted to say something else other than bravo.
Well, you did. You were like, don't leave.
Yeah, I did. Because I think it's corny when they leave and they come back and just making fun of it. I noticed that some people were finding me annoying. I think maybe you found me a little bit annoying too. Because I was saying some comments here and there. I forget what I said to you, but I didn't say like every 2 minutes. I was like once every 45 minutes or something. I said something.
Oh yeah, I know.
I forget what I said.
I wasn't annoyed. I was just like afraid of people around us being annoyed at us.
I also love the comment you made about the cello player looking like Bernie Sanders, because he did.
He looked just like Bernie Sanders.
But anyways, the marimba player, I don't know why, but I was just glued into her. Even though she was just sitting there waiting for her spot.
Yeah.
And when she was about to play, it was only like 30 seconds, and then she sat down again.
And I thought the marimba sounded kind of bad.
Oh, I thought it was good. I
thought the timbre of the notes sounded kind of out of tune with the rest of the orchestra, which goes back to our conversation we were having about equal temperament, how like the keys of the marimba are not going to be in just intonation, and they didn't sound great.
I mean, maybe Shostakovich did that on purpose, because there was a lot of like weird atonal moments.
Yeah, which I liked that. I thought the percussion was really interesting.
Yeah,
it sounds just like a rifle firing.
And I want to talk more into details about this because I saw a miracle happen in our very own eyes.
Oh, the broken string.
The broken string from the second violinist.
Yeah.
So the violinist broke a string, and I don't know where we're seeing certain things happening, some people moving. So she looked behind another violinist, and the violinist gave her a string, and she's tuning it. She's tuning the string. Oh, I remember what I said to you, because I was only paying attention to her instead of the piece, and I said to you, I'm so anxious. I'm so anxious. This is giving me anxiety. So she's tuning the fucking string, the violin string, while the orchestra pieces is happening, and I'm thinking to myself, there's no way she's gonna tune it and like tune it correctly, because you need to hear yourself tuning it in order for that to happen.
Yeah.
And then she did what she had to do. She gave it to the main violinist, the first violinist, and it sounded perfect.
I know. I don't know how that could possibly have happened. And I didn't understand the swap either.
I didn't get the swap. Like, why would you swap?
Yeah. I saw violins changing hands, but I didn't know if the first violinist just gave his fully strung up violin to the second violinist.
Like, who broke the violin string? Was it the main violinist or the second violinist?
The second. I saw that string hanging off of her bow, and she looked back at the guy, and that was funny that she knew immediately which guy in her immediate area
it was the old man
had a spare string.
It was the old man, obviously. So like, the old man's like, you always got to have strings just in case this happened to me.
And then
And
she hasn't swapped the violin yet. She's still holding it. She's quickly tuning it up, and I'm like, man, there's no way she can get that string to like stay in tune right away, and I even hear to tune it up.
You gotta like go close to your ear. I don't know how she did it. I was looking at her. She was doing this, like looking at it. Maybe she plucked it a little bit. Maybe she plucked it quietly, but I didn't. It wasn't obvious.
That's probably possible, or she can like instinctively know from string tension and like a very light pluck if it's in tune. But I've actually never changed a violin string.
It's really hard. It's really hard.
Do you know?
No, I don't. I tried to fool around with it 2 or 3 times, and it's like it gets really frustrating because it's not like a guitar string.
Yeah, they're just friction posts, and you have to wrap it around. And but what I wasn't sure is if once you get it to pitch, if it's like a guitar string or a nylon string, it constantly is falling out of tune. So the skeptic in me was thinking that maybe once she got it like. So from appearances, it looks normal. 4 strings. She like just wasn't really playing on that string just to like make it look like.
Could be.
Because it seems so far-fetched that once she did start playing again, I didn't hear any weird dissonance or anything. But the swap was the weirdest part.
The swap, man. That was the weirdest part. It was great though.
Yeah. That first violinist seems like kind of a grumpy old Asian man.
Oh, dude.
He was just like, when people were coming in late, he was just giving them
that's the reason I was laughing too, because after the first piece of Mozart, a lot of people were coming in, and people were just like really taking their time finding their seat. You can tell that everyone got annoyed, and I was just laughing. Like I was just feeling the pressure. You can tell that the main violinist was pissed, and the piano player was also pissed.
The pianist was like, had a good sense of humor. He was kind of smirking, and then he was the first one to give the nod to the conductor. He was like,
let's do it. Let's fucking go. Let's do it.
I thought he seemed really cool. I even liked his outfit, which you did not approve of.
Okay, I'm glad that you said that, because I was thinking not bringing it up, but thank you, because now I'm bringing it up. Like, I purposely like to dress trashy, because, when I was a funeral director, I had to dress up nice, so I know how to dress up nice. So when it comes to dressing up nice, I'm very anal on how to dress up nice. So because of that, I just try to put that behind me and just dress up however I want. Do I have fashion? I don't think so. Some people say I do, some people say I don't. But I do have an eye of it when I see it. Or, like my question is, do I give a shit or not? But anyways, that guy, his suit was nice.
Yeah,
it was really cool. I liked the texture, whatever the cloth it was. The problem was that it was too baggy. He looked like David Byrne in the Talking Heads, but playing the piano.
That's a style now. But tight fitting clothes is kind of out, and oversized is in. And I was telling you, like, he's a really small, slight of stature guy. If he was wearing a really fitted suit, he would look comically, like, tiny.
But, like, you can still fit and look nice. You can still look like be a little bit baggy. Like, you can still have, like, a baggy white shirt and have, like, a fitted coat. But the coat was also baggy, and the pants was also baggy.
It wasn't so much baggy; it was just really long on him. It the jacket almost went to his knees.
It looked like BoJack Horseman. Those 3 kids trying to be an adult.
Never watched it.
Okay. How about this? It looked like a kid wearing your dad's suit.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, except the kid has a full beard and long like hair, rock star hair. But did you hear what I was saying about the piano being a little differently tuned than the orchestra?
I am so happy you said that, because when you were talking to me about intonation and how everything is out of tune because of how the physics and everything, and you were talking about that, and then he starts playing, I'm like, wow, it is out of tune.
Thank you.
Like it kind of ruined the piece for me. Like, I think all music is ruined for me now.
Just all piano music.
All guitar music too. Like we were talking, what is the piece of instrument that can be perfectly tuned? And we're saying it's...
But a guitar, you can tune it in such a way and bend the strings so it plays in tune. And that's when you brought up John Frusciante is the reason you like playing out of tune guitars. Yeah. Are you talking about the meme about how his guitar was out of tune on Scar Tissue?
Yeah.
He detuned that B string to make it more perfectly in tune with the laws of physics. he made that major third interval of
Yeah.
scar tissue like
But
a really good sounding third.
Could you talk to me more about that? Because you were also saying that Eddie Van Halen does that too.
Oh yeah, you can hear he's kind of doing the same thing as Frusciante when he plays that kind of interval. It sounds really sweet. It doesn't sound like a little dissonant like
What
a
song?
standard.
Eruption?
I'm thinking of like their first, like Running with the Devil, first song on their first album, like that. Dun, 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 dun. It's like every interval just sounds so nice, and that's rare for a distorted electric guitar. You can tell he has really good ears, and he like really took the time to tune. But I like the piece didn't sound bad, the Mozart concerto. You can tell, but the musicians playing the violins and stuff, they had to compensate for the fact that they're playing with a piano.
Yeah.
They can't just play normal because it will be sounding out of tune.
Sometimes I wonder if like what string players in an orchestra feel about having a piano player.
I wonder
how
think
they feel
like
about
it.
it. I wonder how they feel about it because like I know like orchestra musicians, they have beef with opera singers because opera singers are very narcissistic. A majority of them, they have the reputation, generically speaking, of being narcissists and thinking they're the ones. I mean, they are the ones right then and there, but like to be a good opera singer, you also have to listen to the band and listen to the music and talk to them instead of thinking, oh, you need to listen to me. Kind of like Bob Dylan. We were talking about Bob Dylan, like how Bob Dylan doesn't tune, like the band tunes on him.
So what's your question?
No, my question is like, I want to know more. Like, I want to know the perspective of string musicians and how if they find
a piano annoying.
Yeah, just like it's just as much as a opera singer.
Well, like you saw in the symphony, there's usually not a piano. Like when they did the symphony, there's no piano in that. There was the marimba, which also felt a little out of place.
Yeah.
But they're all able to play like perfectly in tune, like justly intonated chords. So I feel like they probably don't like playing with a equal temperament instrument.
Is it the OCD in you that you hate it when something's out of tune?
It's I think so. And I've been trying to like check myself and be like, when I was a kid just listening to music for the enjoyment, I never noticed it. I actually was listening to Shoo Shoo's first album because have you ever listened to Knife Play?
Yeah.
It's their first album.
Yeah. I can't think of it at the top of my head, but I have heard it.
Like I used to think Jamie Stewart's vocals on that were like the pinnacle of emotion, and he's like really great singer. But he has some moments where he's a little flat, and it never bothered me as a kid listening to that. So,
which one's the one about masturbating
to your lips and breaking my neck and stuff?
Yeah,
that's Fabulous Muscles.
Yeah, from the album. That's the second album, right?
I think that's actually the third.
That's my favorite.
A Promise is.
I think that's my favorite song from them. I love that song.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
Isn't it just like acoustic, like ukulele or something?
Whispers like this. I like it when you torture me.
I do kind of wish we had seen them at the empty bottle.
Yeah, but they sold out. Anyway,
I thought you already had a ticket for yourself. That's why I was like,
I was waiting for a reply, and I'm like, I was thinking to myself, it wasn't going to sell out. Boy, was I wrong. But it's okay. It's okay.
Next album.
Whenever, if it happens. Knock on wood.
Well, maybe we should get back to
Money by Pink Floyd, not Cardi B. It's kind of.
What do you think of the time signature?
7/4, great. It's a great time signature. I think David Gilmour kind of. I mean, maybe it's a good idea on songwriting wise, but I think David Gilmour
took solos over 4/4.
Yeah, took the easy way out by just playing it on 4/4.
You know, I had the exact same thought when I first. I never, because you don't notice it when you listen to the song, that suddenly the guitar solo starts and it goes to a more typical.
Like the saxophone solo was in 7/4, and if the saxophone player can do it, why can't Davey do it?
Yeah, maybe he just like wanted to go more traditional bluesy with it, and soloing in 7/4 is hard. Even though
But
it's
once you have the
soloing.
groove, you got it, man. Once you got the groove, and Roger got the groove with Nick, you know.
But all your muscle memory is gonna be like defaulting you to
Yeah.
play around the 4/4.
So maybe that's when Dave is like, "Can we just do it 4/4, guys? Come on, can we just do it 4/4?" And once I'm done, we just go back with a doom ding ding ding.
I want to
Boom,
give him
boom,
the
boom,
the
bam,
benefit
boom.
of the doubt that he could have soloed over 7/4 if he wanted
Maybe it
to.
didn't sound good. Maybe it didn't.
Yeah,
sound
maybe it was
yeah.
a creative choice
Yeah.
to have that one part of the song be like, oh, it's a relief. It's
Yeah.
like something that sounds more familiar, and it's for the guitar solo.
And the song is self-explanatory. It's about money. It's about how much we love money. It'll make life better if we had money. Blah blah blah. It's part of life. Go
Very
on.
similar to Kendrick's song about. Fuck, no, I don't remember which song it was, but there's a song where he heavily mentions money. Shit, I should have taken a
Is it
note of
Loyalty?
which one. I think it.
Or is it
no.
humble? Or is
He
it
does
DNA?
mention like money and humble, but it's I'm gonna have to look that up later. But
Okay.
yeah, one of those is very like about money, and it reminded me of Money from Pink Floyd.
Us and Them. What is Us and Them about?
I'm actually not sure. It's a really pretty song. I like the echo on the vocals. Us,
And them. And the reverb.
them.
And after all.
Yeah, remind me what the
ordinary
lyrics
men.
are.
Well, I don't want to read the lyrics because they're long. But
Well, just like what's the line you remember? Because
us and them, after all, we're ordinary men, black and blue, something, something. The song, in my opinion, it's about relationships. It's about love, but how love can get complicated, how we try to do our best to make love work. And it can be a love relationship. It can be a friend relationship. It's just talking about maintaining relationships in life. Okay. Now I'll look at the lyrics in that way. But yeah, let me know what you think. Do you
'cause
like the
just
guitar?
from
Do you
the-
like the saxophone solo?
I'm trying to picture what it sounded like, but I think all the instrumental on the album is incredible. It's like a beautiful sounding record. All the playing is top notch.
Us and them, and after all, we're only ordinary men. Me and you. God only knows it's not what we would choose to do. Forward, he cried from the rear. In the front rank died. The general sat in the lines on
Gets
the
a
map.
little heavy
Moved
here.
from side to side. So that's a war. That's a war reference.
Yeah, maybe it's more of a pop.
Black
war
and blue,
song.
and who knows which is which and who is who. Up and down, and in the end, it's only round and round and round. Haven't you heard? It's the battle of words. The post-bearer cried. Listen, son, said the man with the gun. There's room for you inside. So it's about, again, it could be about relationships, like I said, but it's also about, what's the word I'm looking for? Like,
Just like the other.
like fighting, about fighting or just rivalry.
Yeah.
Maybe,
okay.
I don't know. It's just what, it could be many things about the song, but it's obviously about confrontations and rivalries and war. Okay.
Yeah, it's I like the song. I like when it gets really heavy with the "Down forward he cried." Da, 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 da.
Dun, dun. Okay. Anyways, Any Color You Like, which is the instrumental song, which has a cool rhythm solo.
It's the one that sounds kind of electronic, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's got like a Moog, like like a little like
Yeah, Richard Wright's going crazy on it. That's the
That's a good
keyboardist.
kind of some of their stuff reminds me of like Kraftwerk in a way.
Before Kraftwerk.
Yeah.
But what? Okay, that's the question. Sorry, now I'm getting a little bit excited. We're down to the last three songs. Us and Them. No, sorry. Any Color You Like, Brain Damage, and Eclipse.
Which is kind of like a suite, like the end of Abbey Road,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, kind of. But it's not
doesn't really have breaks.
Not as great as Abbey Road. Sorry,
I
no
think
offense
it's better. the suite on Abbey Road is a bunch of goofy like Paul McCartney
But
nursery
it goes
rhymes.
great. It goes well.
Maxwell Silver.
That's the beginning. That's the beginning.
What is it? There's some silly
Golden Slumbers. Golden
That's a good song.
Slumbers lead your eyes.
You know, with this new haircut, you kind of look like Paul in like the Wings era.
God, no, then I should get a haircut because I don't like the Paul haircut in the Wings era. I like the Paul haircut in the late Beatles era.
It's not that different. It's kind of the
It's
same
very
thing,
different.
except more of a beard.
Very different. Like he kind of has a mullet in the Wings era.
He kind
Jet!
of always did.
Okay.
I still think the last 3 songs of Dark Side are better than the last like 5 whatever of Abbey Road.
Polythene Pam.
That's what I meant as a stupid ass song.
You should have seen Polythene Pam. She's so good looking that she looks like a man. Okay, man. Remember
You're not convincing me.
remember
here.
3 episodes ago or 2 episodes ago we talked about it later, but you didn't say it at the episode. I pissed you off with the Wilco versus Weird Al Yankovic thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're pissing me off with the Beatles and Pink Floyd right now. Like, you're saying Pink Floyd's last 3 songs, and I love Pink Floyd. It's better than Abbey Road. You know, agree to disagree. Agree to disagree.
I love the first half of Abbey Road. I think the first half is better than the second half.
I disagree. I think the second half is better than the first half.
Here Comes the Sun. She's So Heavy. These are some of the best songs.
She's So Heavy is the last song of the first.
It's still on the first half.
Yes, and Here Comes This Song is the first song of the last half.
It is?
Yes.
I thought the entire last side was the suite.
That's the ending.
Are you sure Here Comes the Sun
Yes.
is on side 2?
Yes.
Damn.
Okay.
I had that wrong. I
Anyway.
thought it was like the second song on the album.
No, that's something.
Something.
That's something, dude.
Well, that's another great example of why the first half is better. It has something.
So you love Maxwell Silverhammer, huh? That's the third track. Okay.
Not really.
Okay. Third song. The 3 songs from Pink Floyd. It's the last 3 songs. It starts with the instrumental song
Yeah.
called "Any Color You Like." What is it about? I don't know what it's about. I think it's just them having fun and it just has a good vibe. It's a filler song, so to say, but maybe it's not. Can you tell me? Am I wrong? Tell me.
Any color you like. I mean, that's the whole beauty of instrumental music. It doesn't have to have one definition. It can serve different meanings at different times.
And what does it mean to you?
It means
It's your neighbors having fun.
it kind of sounds like Pink Floyd. It sounds like
Like
On the Run.
Yeah.
is he fucking playing Dark Side of the Moon right now?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. That's so funny.
I know he's a big Pink Floyd fan.
Second time the universe is aligning with us. The first one is our fucking shirt. We didn't talk about what shirt we're gonna wear, what clothes we're wearing. He's wearing a Chicago Bulls shirt, and I'm wearing a bull shirt that says "Bulls on Parade," where a bull is killing a matador. Yeah, he's playing on the run. He's playing on the run. Okay, but okay, any color you like. What does it mean to you?
I don't know. Nothing really.
About, like, I don't know. It could be like about creativity, but like it's the ending of the album because then afterwards is Brain Damage and then Eclipse.
Yeah.
And then Brain Damage, I feel like Brain Damage is about paranoia, just not feeling uncomfortable, not feeling like life is full of regret, but just feeling just uncomfortable, or just being insane,
Yeah.
being lunatic, being in the manic episode.
I was reading on Wikipedia. They claim it has something to do with Sid Barrett and
course, of
his
course.
mental
Yeah.
issues.
But I'm just trying to talk more in the generic perspective.
Yeah.
How is this? Is this about life?
I'm trying to build your case here. For
Yes,
why
I am
it's
trying
like
to build
that.
my case here.
Yes, it's about life, like every other piece of art ever created.
God damn you!
What else could it be about?
Okay, all right,
Life
cool,
is
cool.
life encapsulates everything.
What about eclipse? What does eclipse mean to you?
Is this the one where the lyric "Dark Side of the Moon" is, or is that
Yes,
in?
it's at the end.
Then, yeah, it's kind of like an intro. It's like could be about death. I'll see you on the dark side of the moon, or when you've lost your mind, you'll see you there. I don't know. Dark side of the moon. It's such a mysterious phrase. I can't remember the other lyrics, but I
All
think
that
that's
you
a great
touch, all
one.
that you see, all
Oh,
that your
yeah.
life will ever be. Stuff like that.
Where does that line? Where do those lines lead to? Like all that stuff is what?
To the dark side of the moon, like you were saying. And I'll see you at the dark side of the moon. Because then that's the end of the song, goes with the heartbeat, and then boom, is over. Like, that's a metaphor too about death, like you're saying. Like it goes back to just a heartbeat and it just fades out and boom, you're dead. Mm-hmm. And like I said this earlier, but it can also be a metaphor of reincarnation because it just repeats again. If you put it in a loop and just goes back. But I wanted to ask you, what is the dark side of the moon? Just like the mystery of what the afterlife is?
It could be. I think it's open to multiple interpretations. The Wikipedia entry was claiming that it's like a psychological dark side of the moon, like the dark recesses of the mind when you've lost it.
Uh-huh.
Like that's kind of the dark side of the moon. Or it's fucking about going to space and meeting aliens who live on the moon. It could be could mean different things depending on the context. That's the most beautiful thing about lyrics, how they can feel really specific, but they're almost always broad enough that you can apply them to totally different situations.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't really feel the need to nail it down to one meaning. What do you think it's about? Do you have one meaning?
I always wanted to know what it meant, dark side of the moon. But like now talking to you about it, it makes sense. It could be like, what the afterlife is. Like the mysteries of life. Like we still don't know things about life.
Yeah.
And things are still a mystery.
Like I always thought of it as like an afterlife thing, but then hearing that it was about like mental illness, that changed it for me.
That could be too.
Yeah, but no, I don't think if you asked Waters or Gilmore what some of these lyrics meant, they wouldn't tell you. They'd be like, whatever it means to you.
Yeah.
Which is my stance as an artist. If I ever get asked like what something means, I'd rather know what it meant to that person if it meant anything at all.
All right, and that's the end of Dark Side.
I kind of want to get another drink and maybe take a little bathroom break. Okay, so we're going to intermission and then come back and talk about Kendrick.
5 years later.
All right.
Well, the next topic is Kendrick Lamar's Damn / NMAD. Look, I just want to bring up this. One of the reasons I enjoy Pink Floyd a lot, or as I getting older, I like Pink Floyd because they were a band that brought philosophy. I don't know why I had to say that weird. Philosophy in the conversation, and Dark Side of the Moon is a philosophical conversation. And I'm not saying there's rap artists that don't do that, but I felt like Kendrick Lamar really got intellectually heavy in his discography. Like my favorite album is To Pimp a Butterfly. I like the jazz elements in it. And I know it's kind of weird that I'm bringing up Damn more instead of Pimp Up Butterfly, but I just think Damn is much more layered and is talking about really heavy stuff that we should maybe talk about it. And I'm really uncomfortable talking about it because I don't want to talk out of my ass.
Yeah,
but I do want to have a
same
conversation about it.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest hip-hop head. I don't know every rapper who ever lived. I think of modern rappers, Kendrick is probably the one I've listened to the most besides Kanye. But as we talked on our Kanye episode, I've been checked out of Kanye for like 15 years. I haven't given much of his recent albums a chance. And to be honest, same with Kendrick. I was a huge fan of Section 80 and Good Kid, Mad City. And then To Pimp a Butterfly came out, I listened to it a couple times and I found it like too much of a departure from the like pop radio
Wow.
rap sound that I was into that, like the trap
Wow.
beats and the the synths and stuff. I thought that was so cool, but all the jazz stuff kind of threw me for a loop, and I was like not as into it.
I'm the opposite. Because I got more into it because I was getting too jazzy, and then I gave the trap stuff another chance, and I liked it. You know.
I went back and listened to Pimp a Butterfly this weekend. I think it's fantastic. I'm gonna listen to it more. But at the time when it came out, it's been like 8 years, which is crazy. I didn't like it as much as the previous album. But Damn is kind of going back to the more electronic, like rap drums.
I wanted to say another connection between, like, it's a bad connection, a really loose connection, not really intense. I was, back in the day, I was reading about rock en español and Spanish rock. And there was a lot of, like, electronic-inspired musicians, Spanish-speaking musicians, that said their biggest influence was Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, because it was their first time they heard synthesizers, like On the Run. And there was another song that you were saying that has synthesizer stuff, Any Color You Like. Mm-hmm. Songs like that inspired people to fool around with electronic music. So, like, one of the musicians I was talking about, Gustavo Cerati, was saying that Pink Floyd is one of the trendsetters of electronic music.
Definitely.
So I see that. But going to Kendrick. The song starts with sad tones, telling a story about helping a random lady. And then the lady shoots him. And then it shows excerpts from Fox News or some kind of news channel saying how cops kill black people and black people don't want to deal with that anymore. And the news reporter's like, please, I don't want to hear that stuff. And it starts with DNA.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to talk about it song by song, or do you just want to go overall?
Well, like, this week is the first time I listened to the album straight through, so I might not know every song by heart. Okay. But I remember the hook of DNA, and it's a really powerful opener, if you consider it the opener and not the closer of the album.
Which one do you like better, Damn or NMAD?
I heard Damn twice, and I listened to it backwards once, so I felt like it flowed well both ways, weirdly. It's like, do you want to come out the gate with a banger, go like really hard, which is the normal album, or it starts on Duckworth if you listen to it backwards, which is kind of more down-tempo.
Put it on reverse! That's what he says.
Does he?
Yeah.
I don't remember that part. But that song also has some like harder elements too. So it's not a hugely different flow. It's like, do you hear lust first or do you hear love first? When you lust and love are back to back, like that kind of changes the vibe.
Do you think that it's on our perspective of what things should be first? I'm talking about life. Should love be first or lust be first?
Well, I think love is the thing that takes maturity and time to like experience real love. So I think lust comes first for most people.
So you're more of an NMAD person, because lust is one of the first tracks.
I thought love comes after lust on the album.
Yes, on Damn, but I'm talking about NMAD.
Yeah, so I'm more of a Damn person. I think lust comes first.
Oh yeah, okay, no, I got it right. You're wrong. Lust comes first and Damn. So yeah, you're more of a Damn person. Lust comes first and then love. My bad.
But which comes first is like, which song comes first? It doesn't mean like it comes first in your life or...
No.
The whole like forward and backwards thing is a little weird to me because I don't know if it changes the meaning that much.
I think it does. When I heard it like several times, And the vibe I got listening to Damn, which Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon doesn't talk about, is that Damn talks about how a person can be very lonely, and it's very tough being lonely, and just how you wish you can be with someone, and sometimes being with someone doesn't help, or sometimes just being with your own emotions, own thoughts doesn't help either. And then it's slowly, and they feel like, hey, nobody prays on me. You hear that phrase all the time, nobody prays on me. And I don't know where some group of people say like, hey, come join my religion. You can be an Israelite. And, it starts talking about how feeling connected with their own religion. And that's one thing I like about Damn. They talk about or converse about religion, which Dark Side doesn't do.
Yeah, I remember that line where he says, "I'm an Israelite." Is that true? Is
I don't-
Kendrick actually an Israelite?
I don't
now?
know if about his autobiographical life, about if this is an autobiographical thing, so to say. But I prefer Damn over NMAD because it goes with. It's more of a happy ending for me. Like if you say if it's like of a concept album, like if it's telling you a story, it's a happy ending because it starts with someone dying. So maybe but it still talks about the person's life, how they deal with everything. They're lonely. They find religion. Will they accept that religion? Maybe. Who knows? But it ends with Duckworth where the line says, "I thought it was me versus the world, when in reality it's me versus me." And it's just basically talking about the biggest enemy and the biggest savior is yourself, and then go from there. And that's the end of the album. If we're listening to NMAD, it starts with that saying the biggest enemy is myself. I have religion. I'm alone. I'm dead. So it's more of a negative album, in my opinion.
But you said you preferred "Damn,"
Yeah.
but "Damn." Oh, you're right. The end, this last song would be him dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a bleak way to end the album. You have lost your life.
Dude, hearing that trigger, that the sound of the gunshot, it sounds. It impacted me, kind of like the lyric of "Time" you were saying about you missed the starting gun. It really
Yeah.
hits me.
Yeah, the little glimpses of like, there's a song, I think it was "Fear," where he's talking about like how all the different ways he could have died as a
Yeah.
kid growing up in Compton.
Yeah.
That song really touched me in the same way, like just how he dodged some bullets to survive his upbringing.
But that song is great. That's one of my favorite songs from Fear. Is Fears, because the beginning of the song is talking about Israelite and love in the relationship with God. And I remember, this might be going autobiographical on me. I had a coworker who she's Jewish. She's a Haitian Jewish person. And I told her a little bit what's going on with my life, and she kind of wanted to help me but didn't know how to. So she lent me a Jewish book. It wasn't the Torah. It was basically some medieval Renaissance rabbi reading his essays about life and what God means and what it means to be Jewish and how to be Jewish and all that stuff. So just basically how to live a life in peace and all that stuff. And he said that you don't love God, you fear God. In order to love God, you have to understand fear. And I like that Kendrick Lamar talks about God in that song "Fear," but stops talking about God halfway or in the beginning of it, when he's just mentioning about all this anger he has. He's like, I remember, like, he goes into a laundry list. Like, if you do this, I'll beat your ass. If you do that, I'll beat your ass. If you do that, I'll beat your ass. I'll beat your ass. Like, you can tell that he's full of anger. He's full of hurt. He doesn't know what else to do with his life because he only knows pain and fear. And what does it mean to overcome fear, and what is fear exactly? Because after I read that thing from that rabbi, I saw fear at a different perspective. Even though I don't like fear, because fear is fear,
Yeah, I kind of missed the religion part of that song, honestly. He talks about fearing God in it.
Well, the beginning of that song starts with my memory could be hazy, where like a telephone voicemail where a guy's basically saying to Kendrick like, to be an Israelite, blah blah blah, starts quoting the Bible or stuff like that, or the Torah, or whatever Israelites read,
I thought that
which
meant
is the Torah.
Jewish.
Yeah, it is, but it's different than Judaism. Similar but
Okay.
different.
Gotcha. Yeah, that song, I mean, the reason it's so fascinating is there's so many layers, just like so much of his music. And that song starts with like that idea about fear as part of religion, I guess. But then it's like fear of your parent punishing you as a kid, fear of the environment you grew up in, fear of losing your creativity. He even talks about how he's like afraid of losing his creative spark in that song.
And it's funny you say that because in DNA, he's talking about how he's willing to die for all of this. He's willing to sacrifice all of this, his creativity, his music, his life, because it's in his DNA.
Is he having a little messiah moment? He wants to die for his art?
Maybe. That he's willing to do that. He understands what it is.
Is that the meaning of DNA? I thought he was just kind of like one of those braggadocio boast raps. Like, I got all this shit in my DNA.
It could be, but he's also recognizing what he is.
Which is what?
Well, that's stuff that he said. Like, I got this in my DNA. I'm willing to die for because it's in my DNA. Stuff like that. It could also mean like identity issues.
Yeah, I think DNA would definitely have something to do with his identity. I have to read the lyrics again.
What I appreciate about this album is that it talks about what men face, and he doesn't shun away from it, like feeling distress and feeling sometimes there's someone that can come for help without feeling any kind of being okay to be vulnerable without being what's the word I'm looking for, rejected. And I hear that in the song after DNA, I think it's or Element. It also talks about like how they're willing to, some people are willing to willing to do what they think is right for a relationship they carry. Like they could talk about loyalty, which is featuring Rihanna, stuff like that. So unlike Dark Side, it does talk about life, but it goes into other parts of life that Dark Side didn't talk about. Dark Side was more generic. Time, money, on the run, breathe.
Well, there's probably about like 20 times more lyrics on Damn. It's a longer album.
Yeah.
Dark Side's really short. There's like
42 minutes long. But like that's what
a lot of it's instrumental.
Exactly. That's one reason I was bringing that up, because like Greg Gig and this guy could be all about what Kendrick is saying, but it's not said because it's felt.
Yeah, which another thing for the longest time I thought the singer in Great Gig of the Sky was black, but she's a white woman.
Oh, thank you for saying that, because I was going to ask. She's one of the best singers, or like stories from rock and roll history. And another one is that story from Rolling Stones. It's Just a Mile Away.
Yeah.
Yeah. I prefer Greg Gig, the singer from Greg Gig in the Sky, over her.
They do sound kind of similar. Wasn't that Tina Turner?
No, it wasn't Tina Turner.
Oh.
It was another studio musician that happened to be black. That.
Okay. That's funny.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the emotions going through Claire Torrey's mind as she's saying that could have been similar. Like, I think human experience is pretty universal in a lot of ways, but as a middle-class white British woman in the 60s, her struggles are obviously a lot different than an African-American man who grew up in the 80s and 90s in L.A. But we all feel the same emotions and struggles and disappointments in life and fears. So that's why music can be so universal from people who have totally different backgrounds as you. I wanted to kind of switch gears for a second and talk about the humor on the record because some of his hooks are so funny.
Tell
like
me.
the lyrics are like I don't remember which song it is. It's one of the first couple where he's like, "I'm gonna make it look sexy."
I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was just really nice.
It's a nice smooth hook, but just that as a lyric is like, I'm gonna do all these things, like beat somebody up or like, but he's gonna make it look sexy.
Okay.
How'd you not think that's a little funny? And the one where he's like,
that's in Pride, right? That sounds like it's in Pride.
it might be. And I like the song God a lot too, where he's like, it's this really like triumphant sounding. Like you imagine just like Jesus getting reborn and driving down the Sunset Strip or something, like singing in a convertible, just like singing that song. The melody is just something about it cracks me up. I think Kendrick has a great sense of humor while also being very technically skilled with his words and his enunciation and everything.
He is a wordsmith. He is one of the best lyricists in hip hop culture. Arguably the best.
I can't think of anyone better.
Yeah, I guess it all depends on who you talk to. I don't know. Some people say Big Pun is better, but I don't know that much about Big Pun.
I don't know who that is.
He's a Puerto Rican rapper from the 90s.
Huh. Did he rap in English?
Yeah, nothing but English. He was from New York, but he was Puerto Rican.
Okay.
There you go. His name is Big Punisher, but the name is Big Pun because he was obese as well.
I'll look into that.
Yeah. No, it's just the one things that I think this album is better than Dark Side is that it's very layered. You know, you listen to it, you see something new every time. Like this conversation we were talking about, I never thought about it being connected to the 7 deadly sins, even though it doesn't have all the 7 deadly sins. But like, I used it as like, these are the things that we talk about in life or how it connects to life. Blood, DNA. Yeah, maybe basically agreeing. Element, feel, loyalty, pride, humble, lust, love. XXX, which features U2. I don't like U2. I think U2 is not good, but I really like the song. And I really like how Bono was singing.
Bono.
But Bono. But XXS is not even profane, but maybe that's the reason of that song. It's profane in how life is just morbid and how we have to deal with stupid things. Like,
yeah, I didn't know why it was called XXX.
Like we live in a society where we have to talk about gun control. Don't you think that's more morbid than anything else? Like things like that. Fear God Duckworth. So yeah, I don't know what what Duckworth means.
Me neither.
Yeah.
And the guy he's singing about or rapping about, he's from Chicago. And did you know there was that U.S. Senator Tammy Duckworth, or was she a representative?
Oh yeah.
I don't think it is. It couldn't have anything to do with it.
I don't think it's connected to that because he's from L.A.
Yeah, but the song is about someone from Chicago.
But what does he care about Chicago politics or Illinois politics?
Probably nothing. So
yeah.
it's probably a coincidence, but it's just weird that the song would be called Duckworth.
Do you think Tammy has it on her playlist and just gets happy listening to it?
I bet a million people tweeted at her like,
hey,
yo,
Tammy,
is this song about you, Tammy?
Tammy, it's about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I don't have too much else about Damn. Oh, well, so we already talked about listening to it backwards, but...
But do you have more thoughts about NMAD?
Does he call it NMAD? Where'd you
No, that's
hear
what people
this?
call it.
Because
that's what the fans
call it. It just
call
says Collector's Edition on Spotify.
Yeah, but it's the same backwards thing.
Yeah, I know, but NMAD is very different. I guess that's saying the word backward. Oh, yeah, I remember one little thing is like there's actual backwards audio in one of the songs.
Did you get into that? I didn't.
No, I don't know what it says forwards,
Yeah.
but it's kind of weird that was in there from the beginning.
Yeah.
But it's even when you listen to it backwards, it's still backwards. Yeah, I don't know. But there is that theme.
There's that Easter egg. I mean, Damn is a good album it gives a great perspective of what it is to be a black human being in this society. That's how I see it. It gets more into specifics. Unlike Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon, it's generic. It talks about how everyone deals with this stuff that we call life. While Damn, it can be like, yeah, but let me talk more about what I know. I'm a black man. Let me tell you my struggles. And I don't want to quote Hitler on this. You get my joke?
No.
Hitler wrote a book called Mein Kampf, which means my struggles.
Right.
Okay. But so I think that was good. And originally, the title
Kampf means struggle?
Yes.
I thought it was my life or something.
I for the longest time I thought it was
mine.
I thought it was my struggles.
You might be right. I just didn't think he would write a book called My Struggles. But that does make more sense than My Life. That was Bill Clinton's book.
My Life.
Bill Clinton wrote fucking Mein Kampf.
That's funny.
Sorry, I cut you off.
I know. Now I lost my train of thought.
Oops.
Gosh darn it. I was talking about struggles. Just a glimpse of his life, because it's the thing. You write what you know.
Yeah. I really want to hear his most recent album. He just put it out last
it's really
year.
good.
I haven't heard it yet.
It's a bit hard to listen because it does talk a lot about childhood trauma, especially like when a relationship isn't working out, but there's a kid involved. It's just really, really intense and hard to listen.
I mean, I thought he was happily married to his childhood sweetheart.
Yeah, but it could be. I don't know if it's autobiographical. That's the thing. It could be talking about just anything. We can talk about whatever. I remember what I was going to say now. Damn was originally going to be called "What Happens in This Earth Stays on Earth." What happens on Earth stays on Earth. But he decided not to go with it. So he just decided to go with Damn because it hits more.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, Damn's pretty good album title. All right, maybe that's our cue to wrap it up because we're both rambling now.
Yeah. But
we are gonna play a little for you all.
Okay, but before we play.
Oh no, this is my least favorite part. I hate the pressure of coming up with a topic.
But you told me yesterday you had a topic already. You had something.
Yeah, but I didn't really like it, and then I didn't think of another one.
Do you want to play music and then later on you tell me, or?
I'm not going to think of one.
Yeah.
Wait, give me 30 seconds to just quietly think. I like Neutrogena's suggestion. I like top 5 vocalists. I think that could be a good episode. What do you think?
You just don't want to. You can't think of anything by yourself.
Well, that was the one I was thinking of. I know I can't think of a new one on the spot.
I'm down for that, but if we do that, I want to be more specific. I don't want to do just top 5 vocalists overall. I think we should be like top 5 male vocalists and top 5 female vocalists.
But what about non-binary?
We just go with their assigned at birth thing.
We'll get so much hate mail.
Yeah.
I could do it.
Or we can do 3 episodes. Top male, top female, top overall.
I mean, do you really have that many favorites?
I got a list for each, because male singers and female singers are different.
Yeah, but you still listen to them the same way. They can have a similar impact on you.
I guess.
I don't really think I'm listening to a man right now. I got to put in my man ears or my female ears.
But each the vocal range of a person has its limits.
True, but range isn't the only thing that determines a vocalist's
So
style.
you just wanted to be in general.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
We can make it 10.
Top 10?
That'd be way too long of an episode. Because I liked what we did with guitarists, where we had YouTube open and we kind of like played little clips and reacted.
So do you want us to sing too?
Not all 5, maybe like one
Uh-huh.
one cover each from but I think just like playing some snippets of why they're our favorite singer, like a live clip or something. It should be live because studio recordings, they can lie. So like a live performance by each selection.
Okay, I'm down.
That's how you always react when I give my clips. You're like, nah, whatever.
All right, let's
fine.
do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. It's 5, right? Or 10?
Let's stick with 5. And if you have too many, we'll do part 2.
Because it's hard for me because I'm choosing 5. I already know who number 1 is. But like
I don't know who any of mine are going to be. I gotta
top
think
male
about it.
vocalist, does that also mean like lead singer, like being the male? I mean, the main front person.
I think that
Or are we
would
just
make sense.
Or
but if there's-
are we just talking about vocal range and how they sing?
I think vocalists would include their songwriting to some degree. It
What
can't
about-
just be their like technical ability.
And what about the performance? What I'm talking about is performance.
Yeah, it would include performance.
Because like Nina Simone is an example. Is better than Robert Plant. But Robert Plant's persona on stage is better than Nina Simone's.
Okay, that's a different category. We're not talking about like best front person, best.
That's
like,
what I'm asking.
performer.
Are we
Just the vocals?
Just the vocals. Okay. Thank you for bringing that up. All right.
I think it'll be fun.
Thank you so much, everyone. This is the end of the ODcast. I hope you enjoyed it. And the next episode is Top 5 Vocalists. Don't forget to like and subscribe and make a comment. We would like to know what you guys think. And also, we have new episodes on Spotify audio if you prefer that. So keep that in mind. That we release one every Friday until we are caught up.
Yes. Also, Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts. And we're doing Google Podcasts too, but it's taking time as well.
And there's also Amazon, but I don't know who's using Amazon for podcasts unless you're Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, but does Jeff Bezos even listen to podcasts? He's so rich that he doesn't care.
He probably does. He has more free time to do whatever.
Did you know he's in love with his penis? That's the rumor.
He made the rocket shaped like
yeah,
a
and then
penis.
also the Amazon logo with the arrow. He did that on purpose to make it look like a penis. That's from what I heard. It could be a rumor. It could be OBS. But
I don't really see a penis in the Amazon arrow. I don't know what penis is shaped like that.
Jeff Bezos.
Well,
If you ever had sex with Jeff Bezos, let us know and let us know if you can confirm that or not, or if you did what is it called, a DNR? No, not DNR. DND is what? No, not DND. Where you cannot say it.
NDA.
An NDA. Then do not. I don't want you to get in trouble, so don't bring that up then. All right. Thank you so much.
I feel like you should do one where you yell it.
I can't yell and sing like another one from you. Lovely.
Another world premiere. Okay, I'll try it. I'll do a yelling one.
But just yell it that way, but on top of your lungs.
Damn. Love or lust? Damn. All of us.
Give me a run for my money. There's nobody, no one to run me. Another world premiere here. So give me a run for my money. Slipping bubbly, feeling lovely, living lovely. Just love me.
I wanna be with you.
Just love me. Just love me.
I wanna be with you.
Just love me.
I wanna be with
Love me.
I wanna be with you.
Just
Hey.
love me.
If I didn't ride blade on curb, would you still?
Love me.
If I made up my mind at work, would you still?
Love me.
Keep it 100, I'd rather you trust me than to.
Love me.
Keep it a whole 100, don't got you, I got
Love me.
nothing. I
Hey.
got something. Hold
Hey.
up.
Hey.
We gon' function, no assumptions. Feeling like Tyson,
Feeling like Tyson with it.
Knock it out twice, I'm with
Hey.
it. Only for a night, I'm kidding.
Only night.
for life, yeah, get it. Only for life, let's get it. Hit that shoulder lane. I know what's coming over me. Backstroke overseas. I know what you need. Already on 10, all money come in, all feeling go out. This feeling don't drought, this party won't end.
Love me.
Didn't ride blade on curb, would you still?
Love me.
If I'm out of my mind at work, would you still?
Love me.
Keep it 100, I'd rather you trust me than to.
Love me.
Keep it a whole 100, don't got you, I got nothing.
Give me a run for my money. There's no one to around me. So give me a run for my money. Slipping bubbly, feeling lovely, living lovely. Just love me.
I wanna be with you.
Just
Hey,
love.
I wanna
just
be
love
with.
me.
I wanna be with you.
Just
Hey,
love
I
me.
wanna be
love
with.
me.
I wanna be with you. Hey,
Love me.
I'm on the way.
Hey.
We ain't got no time to waste. Popping your gum on the way.
Love me.
Am I in the way? I don't wanna pressure you none. I want your blessing today.
Love me.
Oh, by the way, open the door by the way. Told you that I'm on the way.
Love me.
I'm on the way. I know connection is vague. Pick up the phone for me,
Love
babe.
me.
Damn it, we jamming. Bad attitude from your nanny. Curves in your hips from your mama. Remember Gardena? I took the studio Camry. I know Top will be mad at me. I had to do it. I want your body and music. I bought the big one to prove it. Look what you made. Told you that I'm on the way. I'm like an exit away. Yeah. If I didn't ride blade on curb, would you still?
love me?
If I made up my mind at work, would you still?
Love me.
Keep it 100, I'd rather you trust me than to.
Love me.
Keep it a whole 100, don't got you, I got
Can
nothing.
run for my money. There's nobody, no run to outrun me. So give me a run for my money. Slipping bubbly, feeling lovely, living lovely. Just love me.
I wanna be with you.
Love me,
I
just
wanna be
love
with.
me.
I wanna be with you.
Just
Hey,
love
I
me,
wanna
just
be
love
with.
me.
I wanna be with you.
Just love me.
One more time.
Just one more.
Yeah, I could do it one more time.
Yeah, 'cause
I feel
I-
like the last one was better, actually, the previous
Yeah, I screwed up in the second chorus. I was
one. It
just
a
in the
little
zone.
faster.
Yeah.